Guys, there are going to be some pretty serious spoilers in today's episode of Outlander Sunday, right from the beginning. Are you ready for this? Murtagh is back! Hello everybody, how are you doing? And welcome to today's episode of Outlander Sunday with me, Shaun. I am a vlogger from Edinburgh in Scotland. I talk all about Scottish culture on my channel. I talk about travel and adventure on my channel. And of course I talk about Outlander every single Sunday after the episode has aired on Starz. We do a review show right here, Outlander Sunday. Welcome everybody, thank you so much for joining me on this journey. It's great to have you here. And if you're new to this channel, please do me a huge big favor right now. Hit the red subscribe button down below so you can join in with all of my adventures from now on. Be part of the family, be part of the clan, and then you won't miss any of my videos from here on in. It is great to have you all on board. And in today's episode of Outlander Sunday, we have got a lot to talk about. Episode 405, Savages. What an episode it was. I talked last week a little bit about how Outlander had kind of disappointed me a little bit in the sense that I wasn't totally gripped by it, but I think this week changes everything. What an episode. We're back on track and I'm so excited to be sharing this experience with you guys. And as I said at the beginning, Murtagh, our hero throughout all seasons, the king among men, Murtagh is back. We all knew that he survived the Battle of Culloden. I said it on my channel first. None of the book readers believe me because of course he doesn't make it in the books. None of the book readers believe me, but I said he wasn't going to die. And then what happens in my favourite ever episode of Outlander, at Ardsmuir prison, Murtagh reappeared and then he was sent off to the colonies as an indentured slave. And we knew he would be coming back. And in today's episode, we found out that he would actually be coming back. A lot of people had been talking about this rumour for the last couple of weeks because the actor, Duncan LaCroix, he appeared in the cast sheet for this week's episode 405, and we all knew this would be the one. But nobody knew in what capacity he would be coming back. How would we find him again? Well, I'm going to talk all about that in today's episode and more. There's just a lot to get through. But anyway, you've all subscribed. That's great. And what about Instagram? Are you on Instagram? Have you followed me there? At Shaun Vlog. Make sure you do that. Let's have a conversation across any social media platform that you are on. Right, today's episode, Season 4, Episode 5, Savages. Let's get into it. It starts off on a really nice mellow note, I thought, this week. Claire is with the Native Americans and she's talking to the matriarch about medicine because this woman's a healer. And please forgive me if I'm pronouncing this wrong. Adawehi, her name, from the Cherokee tribe. Cherokee. I said Cherokee last week very wrongly, very badly. I think I said Cherokee. I don't know why I said Cherokee. It just slipped out of my mouth wrong. So I do apologize. But anyway, she is with the Cherokee tribe and in one character in particular she confides,
I have a daughter.
Adawehi, which is played by a pretty famous actor in that scene, which is Tantu Cardinal. And it's really a nice moment to see Claire enjoying time there, learning about herbs, learning about the native way of doing medicine. And I thought it was a good thing because it kind of solidified the family, the Fraser family's relationship with the Native Americans, and I thought that was just really, really good and clever. Adawehi, a healer like Claire, they've got a lot of common ground and a lot of things to discuss, and it's really cool to see that relationship. This episode does go back and forward in time like they have been doing over the last few weeks as well. We see Roger in Inverness, which by the way, as a lot of you guys already know, is Falkland, a little town in Fife, which I have toured on this vlog many times. It's a beautiful little town. It's so amazing to see it back on our screens in Outlander as Inverness. Mrs. Baird's guest house, the fountain in the middle. Guys, listen, I've got so many videos about that place. I'm going to put the links down below in the description. Make sure you go and check some of them out afterwards.
Did the driver wait for her or see where she went?
One way fare to Craignadoon.
Roger, by the way, can we just say for a little second, I like the beanie. You're looking stylish there, Roger, son. Had a shave as well, much like myself. And then we get to Mrs. Baird's guest house, but then this woman comes out as Miss Baird. That's not the same Mrs. Baird that we saw in the start of Outlander, is it? I was a bit confused by that. Is that one of Mrs. Baird's relations? I'm gonna have to go back and watch the first episode to find out. Anyway, Roger is going after Brianna. to discover where she went because he knew she was back in Scotland. So he goes to Inverness to find out if Brianna had been there, and she had. Roger is looking for the answers. Miss Baird has a letter for Roger that she told her not to give him for another year, but she gives it to him. And we just know this is not going to go well for Roger. Oh boy. We'll find out a bit more about that in a wee minute. But back in time again, we meet Fraser's Ridge, the cabin. It has been built. How about that? Like last week it was just foundations, and now we have a fully functioning cabin that looks like they are living in it and have been living in it for a long time. So we've skipped ahead of time a little bit. They've been on Fraser's Ridge for a while. The cabin looks magnificent, guys. A lot of people have been waiting for this episode when we would finally get to see the Fraser's Ridge cabin, Claire, Jamie and young Ian's house on Fraser's Ridge, and we finally got there. How cool was it to see the cabin? And guys, I don't know if you missed this or not, but yesterday I published a vlog which was a tour, a filming location tour of the actual place they filmed Fraser's Ridge and the log cabin. After you watch this video, go and watch it, go and check it out. But listen, right here on this vlog, right now, here are a couple of the highlights. You won't believe the favours I've had to call in to have a closer look at this. Awesome. Look, they've even got bluebells in their garden. Oh, it's a toilet, is it? Look at that. Fully kitted out. Yep, I actually got onto Fraser's Ridge to see the log cabin myself, and it was just so cool to see it all on screen. The episode that we saw and the filming that we saw, they obviously filmed that in winter. When I was there, it was very green and summertime, so I think they do a lot of filming at this location over the season, and we're going to see it more. But again, we find ourselves getting into unnecessary trouble. Jamie goes off to Willem's Creek with young Ian, leaving Claire and Rollo and all the animals at Fraser's Ridge alone. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, I know Claire is a strong, brave woman, right? She's not scared of anything, pretty much. She can handle herself. And yet, we're in a dangerous new land where lots of things are combining to make things a little bit dangerous. And I'm just thinking, Jamie, leaving her alone, this is going to cause problems. But Claire's got a job to do, and Jamie needs recruits. He needs people to come and live on Fraser's Ridge to help him pay for the upkeep of the land, pay for the taxis. So he and young Ian are going off to recruit people at Willem's Creek. Claire is staying behind, and she has got a baby to deliver because there's a German family also settled somewhere within the vicinity close by. They have their own section of land. It's quite interesting to see that aspect come through because North Carolina and the whole colony of North America was settled by people from many different nations. There were families from all different countries, and today we saw the Germans, the Muller family. Claire goes off to their cabin because the wife of that family is pregnant and she delivers a baby. Claire is there to help her through that process. And the baby is named after her, Clara, I think it is, after what Claire did for the German family. It doesn't take long though before we get suspicions about the man of that family, Mr. Muller. I can't remember his first name. There's something odd about him, and he gets very, very aggressive when he sees the Native Americans in his land. He gets out there with his guns and he's ready to shoot them right away. He believes this land is his. Nobody is allowed near it. When the Native Indians were just there to water their horses.
Steal our water for their horses.
They mean you no harm.
Claire manages to defuse the situation. She already knows the native people, obviously, and she tries to calm things down. She solves the situation. Nobody gets killed. And then the Native Americans, they bless the land, something that Mr. Muller is absolutely not happy about. He is a Christian man. They believe that these people, the Native Americans, are savages. That is their clear expression. Meanwhile, over in Willem's Creek, Jamie and young Ian are trying to get recruits. They put posters up around town. They're going to have a meeting in the tavern to get Scottish people to come with them to Fraser's Ridge and settle land. Jamie is offering it for free, a very, very good deal. And the people will only need to pay once they start delivering goods off the land. This deal is too good to be true, but Jamie is really surprised when absolutely nobody accepts it. Everybody's saying no thank you. They're worried about the tax, which is obviously a really big conflict point and led to the American revolutions and American independence eventually as well. So they're almost giving up, right? Young Ian and Jane getting on the horse, but something is broken. I think it's the bit that goes in the horse's mouth, and they need to take it to a blacksmith, right? And this is where Murtagh comes into it. Let's just skip the details. Murtagh is the blacksmith. Everybody was curious about where Murtagh would fit into this season, which character from the books he would be. I can't answer that question, but a lot of you guys speculated about that, and now we find out he is a blacksmith. And it was so funny as it happened, I found myself being really tense because young Ian didn't know who Murtagh is, so he was going in there and like having a bit of a conflict with him over the price. Young Ian just basically walked out, and I'm thinking, Jamie needs to know this. Jamie needs to know that Murtagh is in there. He gets on his horse and they're about to tear off, and I'm thinking, I cannot believe it. Murtagh, we find Murtagh, and Jamie is never going to know because they're going to take off in the horse. And then you know what went through my mind? I was thinking, that is it. That's the last we're going to see of Murtagh. It's a cameo. He is alive. He's in Fraser's Ridge. He's in Williams Creek. He is working as a blacksmith. But him and Jamie will never meet, and that'll be the end of story. Jamie and young Ian will tear off and be on their way back to Fraser's Ridge. End of the Murtagh story. And I was like getting angry at the screen as it was happening because I could see that's what was about to play out. Thankfully, young Ian told him how much the blacksmith Murtagh had charged him for a tiny little bit. Jamie, furious, was not going to accept that, jumped off his horse and went in to find the blacksmith and find out it was Murtagh. And guys, what a moment that was. All Outlander fans who love the TV show, like you guys, that just tugged at the heartstrings, right? I don't know what you guys felt about that moment, but that moment for me was absolutely amazing. So great to see Murtagh back on our screens. Murtagh is the man. Where would we be without Murtagh, right? Whenever anything is going wrong, what do? We call for Murtagh. And he's back, he's with us. Or so we think. He has aged considerably. And then young Ian obviously solidified that by calling him an old coot, which I thought was pretty funny. Murtagh thought it was funny as well. Seeing Duncan LaCroix back on our screens as Murtagh, that was just such a special moment. I actually saw Duncan LaCroix playing another part in a Scottish film recently in Outlaw King, and it was really weird for me to see Duncan LaCroix in Outlaw King as an English lord. I think that's what he was. Anyway, it was really bizarre seeing that. He's obviously an English actor, but he does the Scottish accent really well, I think. He's back in Outlander, and it's just amazing to see. When Murtagh is there, you just think all is well in Jamie's world, right? Murtagh and Jamie have a lot to catch up on. They go to the pub and they get it out, and it's just such a cool moment. And then we kind of find out a bit more about Murtagh and what he's been up to. He seems a bit skeptical about Fraser's Ridge at first off as well, but he takes Jamie and young Ian to a meeting, and we find out why. Murtagh is a regulator. The producers of the show said they wanted to introduce some conflict into this scenario, and boy oh boy have they done that expertly. Murtagh is a regulator, and I had to look up what a regulator is, and let me just read this out to you. The regulators in North Carolina were opposed to the British tax system and rebelled, and then went into battle with colonial officials in 1771. And I also learned, by the way, Your Excellency, as I referred to him last week, Governor William Tyrone was actually the real guy in charge during that time period in real life history. Diana Gabaldon continues to impress me by putting in real life characters into her storyline. Just like her story with the Jacobites being very true to history, this story on Fraser's Ridge in North Carolina is sticking pretty real to the true facts as well. This impresses me no end. But it puts Jamie and Murtagh in a real conflict because Jamie was promised this land in Fraser's Ridge on the basis that he would try and put down any notion of these regulators who didn't want to pay their tax. And we know that that is now going to end up in some kind of conflict somewhere down the line in this series maybe, or in the next series even, but we know that's going to be conflict, and Murtagh is going to be the head of that. The fact that Murtagh refused Jamie's offer to take him back to Fraser's Ridge, it now leaves me really worried about Murtagh. They have brought him back into the show, but in what capacity? Murtagh seems like a changed man. He was talking about his history as an indentured prisoner, which is basically a slavery for people who had committed crimes in the United Kingdom who'd been taken to colonies to live out a punishment for 7 or 14 years or however long it was as a worker on someone's land, and generally in harsh conditions. Murtagh, in his speech against the British colonials and their tax system, seemed embittered. He seemed like a man who had been broken down by his indenture over the years. He was angry. He is not the cool-headed Murtagh who always had the answer that we had grown to know. There's definitely something different about Murtagh, and I just wonder if that is something they have written into the show deliberately for a very specific reason. And could that reason be that he's not going to play a big part in this? Could that reason be that we're going to see this Murtagh in a different light and we're going to not be that upset when he leaves? I generally think this could be it. And I'm thinking, guys, we should not be getting too attached to this new Murtagh. The Murtagh who is free now as a blacksmith and as a regulator. Let's face it, what he is doing is essentially treason. He could be hung on the spot for what he's doing. Is that how this is going to play out? That leads to very dangerous consequences for these people, I believe, in history. Will Murtagh fall foul of that because he is so angered by everything that happened to him? It makes me worried, guys. I would love to see Murtagh in this, and I know all of you guys would love to see Murtagh a big part of this series like he has been since day one, but having seen what I just saw, I can't see it. I can't see it, guys. Maybe I'm going to be wrong, but this is something that neither you book readers or I, as a non-book reader as of yet, I've only read the first book, will actually get to know, because this is all made up by the people who make this TV show. It's not in the books. So who knows? Maybe I'm going to be wrong. Nonetheless, it's great to see Murtagh alive and back on our screens, even if it's going to be brief. Claire back at Fraser's Ridge, and we get to see a bit more of the scenario there, the settings, the animal pens, and then we hear a familiar song being played in the background. Hear that? That is coming through the rye. That is one of my favourite songs produced by Bear McCready for Outlander. I absolutely love that song every time it comes on. It's amazing. And they have updated Coming Through the Rye to be more in keeping with them being in North Carolina. They've added a fiddle to it. We knew the story with the German family, the Muellers, was not over, right? The family has been stricken with the measles. The baby has died, the mother has died. And then the man of the house, I can't remember his name. Anyway, he comes to Claire. We knew he was going to come to Claire, and he had trouble for her. He believed he had been cursed by the Native Americans, and that is why his family died. He didn't believe in anything else, like it's just an illness. It was a curse for him. And he was angry, and he was going to get revenge, and we're thinking, Claire, how is she going to deal with this? Is he going to take it out on her? Actually, no, I was surprised to see he wasn't angry with her whatsoever. And then we found out what he had done to get his revenge. This episode is called Savages, and like that is a definite play on words, because savages is the words that Mr. Mueller described the Native American people several times throughout this episode. And his revenge on the Native Americans was to kill Adawehi. He brought Claire her scalp. She's obviously horrified by this and the repercussions this could have, and tells him to get out. The Indians have their own special revenge for him though, by killing his wife and burning down the house. Definite play on words. The savagery part. It's Mr. Mueller who's the savage. Anyway, we're forward in time again. Roger. The story of Roger and Brianna. Roger back in Inverness, looking for Brianna, finds the letter, reads the letter, and finds out that Brianna knew that her parents are going to get into some kind of trouble and has went back through the stones after them. We see Brianna at the stones going back through Craignadoon. We don't know exactly where she ends up. We don't get that far. She just goes through the stones and disappears. By the way, I was at those stones at the exact site where they filmed Craignadoon about a couple of days later. I've got a video of me touring it just a couple of days after she was there. The link for that is down below as well. Make sure you watch that video. But she's basically told Roger she needs to go back in time. And poor old Roger, I feel bad for him. I really, really do. You can see the dagger through his heart, but at the same time, maybe it wouldn't have come to this if he was a little more understanding all those months ago, or years ago even, back in North Carolina at the Scottish Festival. If he hadn't behaved that way, maybe things would have been different. I still feel sorry for them though, I do. But anyway, one thing we do know is Brianna is off back through the stones, and she's going back in time. She's going after her parents, and that is going to be an interesting development. I can't wait to see where she ends up. Jamie and young Ian make it back to Fraser's Ridge. All is well in Claire's world. She's obviously lost a friend, but things are well with them. But we are left with one final question mark on the episode, and is Murtagh. And just when we think that that is not going to be answered, that's going to be another part of the show where like there are discrepancies, things just happen and disappear. For example, last week when John Quincy Myers was injured at Fraser's Ridge, now he's just like gone. Like, who knows where he went to? Are we ever going to see John Quincy Myers again? He's just vanished from our lives. Is it going to be the same with Murtagh? Is he staying in Williams Creek forever as this regulator who is probably going to be killed? And then we hear him whistling at Fraser's Ridge. He makes an appearance when Claire is in the garden. Guys, what a moment that was. Did you guys see the look on Claire's face? What an ending to this episode. It was absolutely magical. Murtagh has come back to Fraser's Ridge, and it is so amazing to see. I'm so happy about that ending. I don't know what you guys thought. Let me know in the comments down below, but I was very excited to see that. But it still leaves a question mark on Murtagh. What way is he going to go? There are two possible outcomes for Murtagh. Does he stay in Fraser's Ridge with Jamie, Claire and young Ian, and they live happily ever after? Or does Murtagh just go there for a visit, but actually he's going to go back to Williams Creek as a regulator, where he's probably going to get himself killed? What happens next with Murtagh? His story is fascinating now, because now there are several options for him being in the show. Is he going to stay with the guys for like a long time? I do think the other option, which means that he goes back to Williams Creek and decides to fight on as a regulator, can only lead to his death, unfortunately. So let's hope that that is not the case, but who knows. Duncan LaCroix was not seen on set all that often in season 4 filming, so that concerns me a little bit. We'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. I'm very excited about that now. It gives me something absolutely to wait for next week, and so did the trailer for next week, guys. I don't know if you saw it already, but they played it after the episode. Next week's trailer included Lord John Grey. Great to see him back on our screens again as well. And a young boy who, by the way, looks very much like Jamie's son. Is it Jamie's son who was raised by Lord John Grey? This has got me so excited for next week's episode. Finally, Outlander, you've done it. You've brought it back. I am so excited now for next week, and I cannot hide my excitement. It's going to be great, guys. Anyway, that was the end of this week's reaction and review, Outlander Sunday, of episode 405. It was great. I loved it. Great to see Murtagh back. I don't know how his story is going to play out, but I would like to know your opinion on that. What did you think about Murtagh being back? Comments down below, please. And guys, I've just realised something. I am a complete and utter idiot because I filmed this whole video with my air conditioning unit running. It makes a lot of noise. I hope it hasn't destroyed the audio. I'm also filming in my bedroom, by the way. Do you like my tartan sheets? I might be a long way from Scotland. You can take the lad out of Scotland, but you can't take Scotland out of the lad, right? Anyway, a lot of you guys who saw my video yesterday of the tour of Fraser's Ridge commented that you like my shirt, so I thought I'd wear it again. And if you are interested in any of my merch, you can check it out on the links down below, adventureeverything.club. Please do consider supporting my content on patreon.com from as little as $1 a month. You could also become a member of this channel from $5 a month. There are a lot of benefits of doing both. And lastly, guys, please share this video with any of your Outlander friends or any groups you might be a part of. It would be great to get this video out there and get more perspectives, more opinions down in the comments down below. Thank you so much for joining in. It really means a lot to me. And until the next Outlander adventure, I hope you have a good night, morning, evening, afternoon, or whatever time of day it is wherever you are in the world. Take care.